Tonight we have a very special guest. His name is Doug Air. Doug has been in a wheelchair now since he had an accident in 1978. But that hasn't stopped him one little bit. I'm looking at silver medal, Olympic medals, and a gold Olympic medal. You know, he has earned a law degree. He's become an Olympic athlete. He travels throughout the country, and he's been with the Queen of England and Prince Charles, and he has met just about everybody. So he has a message for each one of us, a message of courage and hope. So please welcome Doug Air.
Thank you.
You know, I always wanted to see one of these Olympic medals, and I could never figure out what they look like. And they are beautiful, and they're heavy. Heavy.
They're chocolate on the inside.
Huh?
They're chocolate on the inside and gold on the outside.
Oh, yeah. Well, you wouldn't have them long if there was chocolate on the inside. Tell me about the Olympics in Seoul.
Well, because I just came back to America on Wednesday, and it was just so exciting. Certainly to be in Seoul, South Korea, so far away from home, and to have the opportunity to represent America, the excitement that was there, and the people. And what I found amazing about the games was that here was a country that really shunned upon people with disabilities just a few years ago, and then they hosted the World Olympics for the disabled, and it was right after the regular able-bodied Olympics. And it just changed the opinion and the feeling about handicapped people throughout that whole country and through the other countries that tuned into it, and it was amazing.
Well, that would be something in itself to be able to change their whole attitude. What events did you participate in?
Well, I throw the shot put, the javelin discus, and the pentathlon. And it was just exciting, and the competition was exciting. And I've been the world champion since 1982, and without hamming up too much, I got the title as the best overall athlete in the world in my division, and so many exciting things. And what I found most is that it's great to win the gold medals and things, but as you were talking about giving and generosity, is that I don't think the material things in life mean much unless you have value for them, or if you feel deserving of them. And it's something that I've learned. And you know, I was at the games and I would see one individual with no legs and no arms, and he would have a gold medal around his neck, and he had the ability to hold his head up with a big smile and talk about the gift of life, the gift of God into an individual, allow them to be the best they can be.
I think that is the most encouraging thing, is to see people like you that have so much courage and go on, and not only go on, but do something great for humanity. Tell us, how did you end up in a wheelchair?
Well, it was on Father's Day in 1978, and I just finished my freshman year of college, and I was playing football and not thinking anything ever goes wrong, and I took the lifeguard stand, and I heard someone yelling for help, and I responded quickly, and I dove in, and my head hit the bottom of the pool, breaking my neck, and my brother was there to rescue me, and he jumped in, and I said, "Brian, save the boy who's drowning," and he told me that the boy was only joking.
Oh, I don't believe it.
Yeah, and I remember laying in my brother's arms, and I couldn't feel his arms on my body because I broke my neck and it caused spinal cord damage. And I remember laying in his arms and looking up at him asking, what am I going to do now with the rest of my life? I'm paralyzed, just let me go. And I remembered all he could really offer me were tears and just the look of being worried. But I realized then that by asking that question, what am I going to do now, was also an answer that I found helpful for my rehabilitation in life, because I think we all have to ask ourselves, how can we make our lives better? And by asking ourselves every day, what do I have to do now to be a little happier? How can I be a better person, or have more faith or more belief in myself and religion?
But actually, if God had not permitted this accident, you would never be doing probably the things you've done.
It's so true. Many people say, are you bitter with that boy who was only joking and you ended up paralyzed? And what you say is so true. In a sense, I thank him. I mean, I look forward to the day that I walk again, but the opportunities that have came about since my accident, I have a chance to be on the Wheaties cereal box and be a world champion.
Let's just show everybody. I'm not advertising Wheaties.
No, likewise.
But this is Doug on the Wheaties box, and I just think something like that is
it wouldn't
a great honor for you. Tell me what part I'm fascinated with these medals. What part does God play in your life? Has to have a big part.
A very big part. Because what happened was, when I think, and it's common in any tragedy, but for myself, I'll speak for myself right now, is that when you go through something like this, when you lose the ability to walk and the doctors come in and tell you basically your life is over, you'll never walk again, I think you right away ask, why me? Why did this happen to me? And you look for answers, and you look for answers from your family and from religion, and you hope that there's a reason for why things happen. And I think the answer is that, why not you? I don't think anyone's immune to adversity. It's just part of life, and these things happen. But I think what you're saying about surviving in life isn't just enough to survive. I think we all have great ability and great opportunity to do something with our life, and to be somebody, not only to dream about it and say, oh, I wish I did this different, or I could have, or I should have.
No regrets.
Yeah, you can't change the past. And for myself, breaking my neck, I couldn't change the past. It was just trying to live today, plan for tomorrow, and learn from the past. And it's painful, and I'll be honest with you, it's a real challenge and it's a real struggle, but that's what is nice, that inside us we have that courage and that strength to meet challenges in our life. And if we don't, I think we've been blessed with I'm here in Alabama right now from Health South Rehabilitation Corporation, and I happen to be a spokesperson for them, going around the country and going to the different facilities where, you think you're the only one with this problem, let's say a spinal cord injury, and you'll go to Texas and there'll be other people there with injuries. So I think it's just part of life that injuries happen.
I imagine the children would be the hardest thing for you to see.
It is sad. But somehow, that pain is survivable. We live through it. But that strength and that courage that we possess, and sometimes we don't know about until a tragedy happens, is just overwhelming how we can pull it out. But I hope to convey to people is to appreciate the things they have in life. And, so many times we always want more, and we hope for bigger and a better house and a better job and things. But what about today? Doesn't today count? It's a day in our lives that is important.
How did you decide to be a lawyer?
Well, it was something that I wanted to do before my accident, and they said that you had to break your neck to get into law school, but I did it literally, I guess, But it was something, for myself, I had an attorney, and I work with spinal cord injuries now and people that have head trauma cases. So I felt that certain rights were being unjust, and they weren't were being denied in many cases. So I divulged myself into that, and now I try to be a strong advocate for the disabled, as well as representing clients around the country that have spinal cord injuries. And because it's hard for someone to say, I don't understand what they go through. But normally, as a lawyer, when I go into the courtroom, they think I'm the plaintiff in the lawsuit as opposed to the lawyer, So it's kind of funny, but it is nice.
You went to a healing service in England just recently. Tell us, there was something there that kind of struck you. What was it?
It is true. Thank you for bringing that up. I was in England. This was 2 years ago, actually, and I was passing one of the world famous cathedrals there, right across the street from Parliament. And I passed this little sign, and it was an 8.5 by 11 sign, and it said healing ceremony once a year, and it was this day from 12 to 1. And I said, of all the places I could be in the world, and I happened to be passing this little 8.5 by 11 sign, just happened to be in England on that day, right next to it. And I went into the cathedral, and it was just beautiful with the paintings on the wall and the holiness that was there. And I said to my dad, my father was with me, Dad, this is the day I'm going to walk. This is a miracle. This is great. And I was so focused that I'm going to be cured on this day, because the way everything transpired that day was just overwhelming and so coincidental. And I remember going up there and saying the prayers, and I was waiting to stand up and walk all of a sudden. And at the end, the prayers were there, and I felt enlightened, but I didn't have the ability to walk. And when I spoke to the Monsignor afterwards, he expressed to me that the miracle that I received that day didn't have to be what I was looking for in the sense of walking, but he told me it was the miracle of being happy, and you will be a happy person. And the words couldn't be truer, because I don't think I could be much happier in my life. Granted, I can't walk, but I don't think it's important how you get there. It's important what you do in life when you do get there.
Yeah.
And for happiness, if that is a miracle that I'm happy again, that is. And sometimes, the things and the gifts that God has given us aren't in the sense of what we desire, but all the peripheral things around us that we could utilize to be a champion in our own lives, and that's worked well for me.
Doug is such a wonderful example of living in the present moment with the Lord and accepting whatever it is. And many people would be bitter, many people would be disgruntled, many people unhappy. And yet I have seen those in wheelchairs, those on crutches, and those who have suffered intensely. Many, many times the most cheerful, the most dedicated. and the most alive people, that spiritually alive. And you and I need to take courage from them and know that God